Hey everybody, and as you may have noticed within the last couple of videos that I now have functioning hands. A bunch of people assumed, fairly so, that I acquired a Leapmotion. This is not the case. In fact, what I got might be a more affordable and possible upgrade to your VTubing streaming setup. And I'm here to take you through it today. Introducing Webcam Motion Capture. Now, this software is able to use your webcam that you would normally use for VTubing and track hand and upper body motion with it. And as you can see, it's pretty good at what it does. It's not perfect though. However, if you are looking for a more affordable option to be able to move your hands around and interact with chat, I can't recommend this enough. The software has a free trial which you can download and just give it a shot and see what it's all about for free, and it's very easy to set up. You literally just select a webcam from the one interface and you're basically all set to go. It works with VRM, so if that's what you use for your VTubing software, this is fairly easy to set up. And then there is a paid version, which I mean is the version you're gonna want because the free version has a bunch of ads all over the screen. The paid version is literally $2 a month, or if you want to just buy the full license outright, it's $60. Now, full disclosure, I am working with a Logitech C920 webcam, which is one of the better webcams on the market. And I do have somewhat appropriate lighting for this to work. So let's talk about the positives. The first thing is that obviously you don't need to buy a Leapmotion to do hand gestures and things of the like. Its tracking when it comes to fingers, for the most part, is pretty solid. But also one thing that I noticed right out the gate is that the head tracking is significantly better than VC Face. Also, right out the gate, this software has eye tracking and iris tracking, which is pretty great. And most of the setup is done by the software itself. All you really have to do is just kind of move things around to your liking, and then you're all set to go. I'm trying to use my hands a little bit more just to kind of play around with it a bit here. One of the things that the webcam that it does have problems with is if you point directly at the camera. It starts to lose tracking and your fingers just kind of go all over the place. It doesn't really know what to do with this particular position. It's usually pretty good at catching your fists when you hold them like this. So I can do like this, which I know people have been wanting to see for ages, although left hand's glitching out a little bit, but that's okay. And, you know, it does have like a decently, you can do it by 16:9 aspect ratio, which I mean most webcams released in modern day have this, so this isn't really that big of a selling point. But you can also do a 4:3 if you're a little more cramped in space and you don't want other things getting caught in frame, etc. It also does a pretty good job at like estimating where your head is. Like right now my head is behind my microphone, but it's tracking it pretty okay, which that's pretty great. I'd say that's solid. Overall, as far as the tracking goes, this software is pretty top-notch. I'm very impressed with how it works. However, there are a few downsides that I feel like need to be brought up before you go dropping your $2 a month or even the full $60 on everything. As you can see here a little bit, the hand tracking isn't the best, and I don't have the most optimal lighting for this setup. Right now, the lighting in my room is off, and I am using my one monitor to have something bright on it in order to project myself and light so that I'm really the only thing visible. And even still, there's a light on in the room behind me and that's coming through, and it is messing with the tracking a little bit. So you need really good lighting in order for this to work properly, and I mean really good lighting. Also, I know you can't really tell, but I'm running this through three programs to get this to work properly. And that is a lot of resources to ask of someone that is looking to do this on a shoestring budget. So the first program is the Webcam Motion Capture, which is, capturing footage from the webcam and applying it to the avatar. Then I'm running it through VSeeFace, and the entire reason for that is my first big downside to this thing. The lip tracking is awful. It is not good at all. I'm running this through VSeeFace, and I'm having it pick up the audio through my microphone so that the lip syncing is a little better. I tried it with the native lip tracking in the previous video, and it was not good whatsoever. It was quite bad, actually. I hope that's something they address, that they can take in audio from a webcam. They literally have it so that in the one program where you can play a video and it'll track off of that. That's cool, but I really wish that it had the option for audio capture and being able to apply that there. Obviously, the lip tracking on its own is okay, but it's not the focus of the program. So you're having to run it through 3 programs in order to get what you see here. I'm running it through this, then VSeeFace, and then VTube Plus. Now, to be fair, you don't only have to do the first 2 for the video making aspect of this. However, I'm going to be using this for streaming purposes, and that's 4 programs, because the other downside is that 2 programs have to run at once in order for this to work. And at first, they weren't super resource heavy, but as time went on, I started seeing the CPU usage of the Webcam Motion Capture in particular go up and up and up. And for people that are trying to save resources, that's a bit of a downside. However, if you don't care about the lip tracking and you can live with it, then you can use this software. However, is it really worth it for the hand motion when that's really all you're getting out of this? For me personally, hand tracking is pretty great. It's an interesting way to interact with the stream, and it gives me a little bit more immersion when it comes to streaming. I kind of start to forget more about the things in the background and in IRL and focus on making my content and streaming. I mean, overall, if you're looking for an affordable alternative to Leapmotion, I can't recommend this enough. Just know that if you're already kind of struggling for resource management in streaming, this is not going to be the software for you. It is not light on usage, and I was led to believe otherwise beforehand, but the more I mess with this, the more I see just how many resources it actually uses. Right now, while recording, we're sitting at 63% CPU usage. That's not fantastic. But to be fair, I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things open in order to have this running. Now, to be fair, VTuber Plus is kind of optional. I could just run this through this and VSeeFace, and it would probably cut down a little bit, but VTuber Plus is only taking up 8% of CPU usage. The Webcam Motion Capture is taking up 22 currently. So resource usage is very heavy, so I would be very careful going into this. But yeah, if you have the computer or have a dual PC set up like I do for streaming, this is a pretty good deal, especially if you're not really all that keen on dropping $200 on a piece of hardware that you're going to be using for a pretty niche use. Overall though, I'd say this software is good, but it needs work, and it's definitely not done being worked on. In fact, the people behind the software, at least their Twitter account, followed me recently, which that's pretty wild. Thank you so much for that. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. I just felt like making this video to let people know about a potential cheaper option to Leapmotion if they wanted to know about it. So yeah, that's how I'm able to track my hands in the VTubing sphere. I hope this video was helpful in some way. Feel free to reach out to my Discord, which I will put on screen right now, if you need help setting it up. The process is pretty straightforward if you've hooked something like VSeeFace up with VTuber Plus before, but overall, thank you for tuning in. This is Nito, and you have a great day, and enjoy if you decide to pick this software up. Bye-bye.